Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, Mr. Agung. My name is Belva Lasalina, and today I am going to present the system analysis and design final exam case that are being take home. So, here the case is about a pest control service company, which is BugBuster Pro, which is expanding its business operations and plans to develop a mobile application to improve its service delivery. The mobile app allow customers to book services, track pest control activities, and provide feedback as well. And then the company wanted to have an efficient service management module to manage customer bookings. And then there's also the pest control schedules. And also, they wanted to have the technician assignments and service reports. And then this module needs to handle first input, output, and then ERD and control mechanisms, and lastly is the quality management. So for making this assignment, firstly I try to create a DFD. This is actually not really required in the assignment, but I actually make this to give me a big image regarding what is the BugBuster Pro mobile application looks like. And by creating this, I decide that there are five processes that I would explain more. But here from the DFD, we can see there are basically three entities involved, which is the customer who actually initiates the process by submitting booking details, and then they also receive service status updates, and then they also could submit the feedback after the service completion. And then there's also the technician, which he or she received assignment requests from the scheduling process, and then basically they also executes the pest control service. And lastly, there's also the admin or the manager. They are the parties that receiving the reports and the feedback summary from the system, and then they also oversees the service operations and customer feedback. And then there's also several database involved. So we're moving into database first. So there are five database, which is a customer database, booking database, service schedule, technician database, and lastly, feedback database. Okay, so we're going to moving on to the process. It's like I mentioned before, from the DFD is going to be five process, which is manage customer booking, schedule pest control service, and then assign technician, generate service report, and lastly, manage customer feedback. However, this DFD is not really completely right because I designed this prior designing the application. And then after I design an application, this DFD could be revised more, need some adjustment because due to the applications itself, it doesn't work not as really as the same as the DFD. So here, entering the first process, which is manage customer booking. First thing is, oh yeah, as as I mentioned before, so here I designed the UI UX for the application using the Canva, and then uh, I have an assist as well from the AI I use, such as Claude and ChatGPT for designing the UI UX. And this is my developed design from Canva. So first here, I would like to present that there is as I mentioned before, there are several entities, including the admin and the technician, and then the client. So, for this application, BugBuster Pro, this application will have two different module, which is for the admin and technicians. They will have the same module and the same features. And then there's also the client, which have a completely or pretty different with the admin and technician. So here, like I would explain like the admin would be Michael and then the client will be Dua here. So here in the first process, customer will input the booking details. So in the here in the customer module, we have home features, bookings, track, and profile. So if customer or client want to input new bookings, they would go to the booking page, and then there's also my bookings and new bookings. Because we want to input new bookings, we go to new bookings. And then there's three steps, which is service, schedule, and confirmation. And then basically customers could input the service detail, including the service type. Here we're using the drop down because there are several services that are not mentioned in the case. Regarding the surface that are completed. And then the surface location is basically the customer location is Dua's address, and then there's all we can Dua is actually could input her descriptions or notes. That is optional. Here, here is the inputted already, like the general pest control, and then the address is Baker Street, and this is the notes from the customers. And then here, moving on to the schedule. So the customer could have the preferred date and then input from the calendar, and then preferred time, like there are drop downs of options. What uh, is the preferred time? And then additional notes is optional. And then this is what look like. So do I speaking 16 June, and then at 10 a.m., and then please call before arriving. Okay, so this is the confirmation page, which is basically this is the booking summary, and then there's also the payment method, like how. Okay, moving on after paying and confirming the booking, the output will be like this. So there's like a notifications here. There's like a notifications regarding the booking that are added successfully. Other than Other than this output, there is also an output which is accessed by the admin's UI, the admin's page. So here in the admin's module, different with the customer module, here we have home features, schedule features, technicians, and profile. While in the customers, we have home, booking, track, and profile. So here uh after the customer basically ordered the service will be sent into the uh manager first, and then here the manager will receive notifications as well in the schedule page. And like this, there's a new book, you need to assign a technician. This is basically the bookings that come from Dua, and then you need to assign, and that is the required assignment for the manager. So that would be the first process, which is booking. And then moving on to the second process, which is schedule pest control services. So here, admin will input or assign the technician to the specific job. So here, because after receiving this notifications, basically Michael will assign a technician. So after clicking the assign, the assign will directly show or display the technician's page. And here in the technician's page is the list of the technician we have. And there is also an options to add a new technicians. So this is not really mandatory in the assignment. But here I also provide the UI UX if we want to input the technician. So there's the full name, phone number, email, specialization. So this is neat. I make this UI UX as well to create the database and the data structure of each entity as well. So here, uh, while assigning the technicians, the manager or the admin needs to open the assignment page here. And then here in the assignment page, basically, will the manager will have all of the coming bookings. And then here, Dua's assignment is not assigned to a technician yet. And then here, the admin should assign the technician by clicking this assign. After clicking this the assign, and then there is also an option to select the technician. Basically, if we open the drop down, there will be the list of the available technician, and you could also input a notes as the admin. Here for example, Michael choose Sydney and then giving a note that the gate code is 4321 and then assign. So this is the assigning process from the admin, and then the output will be, so here we are at technician module. So this is what the technician display if she or he is being assigned a job. So in Sydney's schedule, there will be new pending assignment like this. Assigned to you? No, yes. It's an option whether Sydney wants to take the job or not. And then if she choose yes, and then she basically take the assignment. So this is the second process of the BugBuster Pro app. Moving on to the third process. So here, if Sydney agreed to take the job, then it would directly display her the technician's page, which is here, assigned to me, Dua Turner's bookings. And then there's an options of app tracking, which we will enter to the third process, which is tracking. So here, by clicking the app tracking, it would directly uh, display the app tracking update. So here, the technician can update the status of the progress of the job like this, whether the technician is on the way or service in progress, and then service complete or report is being submitted. And there's a description also, and there's a photos as well. Here is the example like this. So right now the service is being on progress, and then this is the photos. And I also send a message like inspecting kitchen area and treatment in progress like that. And then add update. Here after adding update, there will be also notifications that tracking is added successfully. And then how about the output? The output will be, so here we back again in the client or customers home here, hello Dua, and this is the in progress bookings. Here to track the job, basically Dua could click the track, and then it would display the tracking, job tracking. Here Dua could see service and progress. And if this this is being clicked, it would also display this, the description and the photos as well. So that is for the third process, which here in the DFD I mentioned as assigned technician. However, in fact, it is could be more into performing the surface and tracking process. Moving on to the fourth process. Okay, so after performing the surface, technician must submit report. Okay, so after track all of the updates, but before finishing the booking, what Sydney has to do as the technician is to complete or add the report. Here, in her home page, she could find her assignment and add the report. After adding the clicking the add report, she could complete this surface summary, which is the date, surface type, materials that being used, and then photos between before and after, and then if there is a notes as well, and then she could submit it. This is the example of the inputted, like so the date is 16 June at 10 a.m. and then the surface being performed is general pest control, and then she used gel-based insecticide spray. And then there's a photo before and after as well. And then there's also a notes that found high activity near sink area, recommended to keep area clean and avoid water leakage. And then there, if it's already submitted, there will be also a notification that the report submitted successfully. So after Sydney as the technician already submit the report, and then um she already changed the tracking as well into submitted the report, the client could access the report from the home page here. As previously, here is track the job, it became view report. So here, Dua could not track anymore the job, however, she could see the report of the job. So this is the output of the report, which Dua could also print the report. Moving on to the last, basically last process of the BugBuster app is after Dua receiving the report, she could also make feedback by clicking this, same as before in the home page. And then after clicking the make feedback button, here, this is the booking code and there's a rating and also a feedback. There is also an attachment as well if the client needs to show something, and then there's a submit button. So this is the example of the feedbacks. Here is the rating 5 star and then the feedback, thank you so much. And here Dua doesn't attach any photos. After feedback being submitted, the output will be changed as well in the admins and the technicians home. It would be changed as completed here and also here few details. So to see the report, the feedback, the admin and the technician could see the few details. Here, it would be provided the feedback, so the ratings and the feedbacks before. So that's the overall process. And then here, there is also the input design, and this is the data structure here for the uh, customer booking. This is the data structure for the customer booking. And then this is the display that I've shown before. And then in the second process, there is also an input of the assigning technician. So the display will be like this. And then here in the assign technician process, we have tracking process, which have this data structure. And then this is the display of the tracking. And in the fourth process, there is also an input of service report, which is this is the data structure. And this is the display of the input design. And the last input design, this is the data structure. It's about the customer feedback, and this is the display. Next is the output design. The first output design is the booking confirmation. So this is like a notification. This. And there's also schedule assignment notification. This is the data structure. And this is the output. And then the service tracking dashboard. Here is the tracking update that being inputted by the technician. It would display this, like I mentioned before. And there is also an output of service report. This is the data structure. And this is the display of the output design. Lastly, for the output design, there is also a customer feedback summary that are being presented to the admin and the technician as well. This is the data structure, and this is the display of output design, like this. Moving on to the entity relationship diagram or ERD. Here, I make this ERD using Miro. Here is the entity relationship diagram. There's customer feedback. So customer submitted the feedback, and then the customer also make the bookings, and the bookings have the feedback, have the report, and then have the tracking, and then it is scheduled at service schedule entity, a database, and then booking is also updated by technician that are being assigned to the booking, like that. And then there is also a control mechanisms in that I make in this BugBuster Pro app. So here, the control mechanism is in the login page where basically the user of the application inputting their username and password. And if they put the wrong uh, input of password or username, there's a notification that access being denied. Maybe the username is wrong or the password is wrong, so they need to do it again. And then if they successfully do it, they basically would be directly displayed into the home page. Moving on to the quality management. So quality management of these applications ensures the system delivers reliable, accurate, and user-friendly service. And it covers four key dimensions, which is input quality controls, and then process quality controls, output quality controls, access control, and data integrity, and then lastly, feedback driven quality improvement. And you can actually read here regarding the explanation of the quality management. And here in the report, I also have uh, input the link of the input and output design and also the ERD link. Well, I think that's all that I could present regarding the final exam case. Thank you for watching.